Welcome back to First Move. It's International Tiger Day, and despite global efforts to protect this endangered species, they're still at great risk. Both commercial poaching and habitat destruction pose the biggest threats to their survival. Stephen Galster is the founder of the Freeland Foundation. It's an anti-trafficking group based in Bangkok. The foundation trains rangers and helps police coordinate the fight against wildlife poaching, as well as human slavery too. Now, I should warn you, the following images show the consequences of poaching and are extremely distressing. People still buy tiger bones in auctions on the black market. The bones are believed to have medicinal value and can be as expensive in certain cases as cocaine. Freeland provides training in Thailand, Malaysia, Laos and Vietnam to catch poachers in the act. And it also carries out tiger surveillance. These night vision cameras in Thailand provide a front row view of these truly magnificent creatures. Stephen Galster joins us now. He's in Nairobi, Kenya, building counter wildlife trafficking task forces there too. Stephen, you are busy all over the world. Just start by explaining where we are today, because I think some of our viewers will be aware of dramatic population collapse over the course of several decades. Where are we today?
Well, the tiger than it was sort of 10, 12 years ago. Population numbers are now up about 40% since that time. So that's good. That's impressive. There's hope. But the tiger is far from out of the woods, because we're basically talking about a species that lost 97% of its numbers in the last century due to habitat destruction and poaching. So we got a long way to go with tigers.
How much of this is habitat decline versus the kind of trafficking and commercial poaching that some of those images that we showed depict?
Habitat destruction was historically the biggest threat to tigers, but really right now the number one threat to tigers is the commercial poaching for its body parts, primarily for its bones. Traffickers are fraudulently but effectively marketing these bones to a population in certain countries as a sort of cure-all, something that can take care of musculoskeletal problems, as an aphrodisiac, other things in between. And so we're seeing things on the black market like tiger bone pills, tiger plasters, tiger glue. This is this thing that they paste the bones together after they poach the tiger, boil it all into a cake, and then form into these like little, almost like brownie looking, almost like little quarter, half kilo heroin looking blocks. And then in fact, when they smuggle it back to the syndicate headquarters, they take it out and they shave it down into little gram bags like you would with cocaine. And the prices are rivaling illicit narcotics. So this is why we've got a lot of poaching going on right now, which is mitigating some of the gains that we've had. And this is what we're up against.
In a world of competing forces, I do want to talk to you about why people should care and help protect tigers. But what you just said there, I think is very important. Who's buying this, Stephen? Because I think there'll be a lot of people who have views on who is buying and actually might be surprised by where some of these products are coming.
Well, that's right. I mean, people might think we're talking about tigers in Asia. We're talking about this illegal trade in Southeast Asia. Actually, the number 2 consumer country in the world for wildlife is the United States of America.
Right.
And right behind them is the EU as a bloc. But yeah, we need to worry about tigers, not just if you're an animal person, but tigers are really important. Tigers are super important for the environment and for people. They're an apex predator, or an umbrella species, as like we like to say. So, if they're the ecosystem that they're in, they help regulate the whole thing, including the animal populations there. And that also means that that ecosystem, which is a watershed, is more beneficial to the local farmers. So actually, tigers, healthy tiger landscapes, are helpful to people. But we also need to be concerned because this tiger trade is fueling organized crime and corruption. And these criminal syndicates who we've investigated, they're nasty. They are not just trafficking in tigers, they're trafficking in, elephant ivory, rhino horn, bear gallbladder, pangolin scales, bones of lions and leopards, you name it. And there are also some of them that we've investigated, they're trafficking people and drugs. And so these are the people that are benefiting, that are getting stronger, that are imperiling these tigers, other wildlife, whole ecosystems. And they're a threat to all of us. So we need to stand up on Tiger Day, I think, and stand behind the tiger and stand up against these gangsters that are destroying our planet and say enough.
Yeah, and it's also, to your point, not just about the tigers, it's about the ecosystem that they live and protect in many respects, and also what happens higher up the food chain as well, which is vitally important. You're training rangers, anti-poaching forces. I'm sure that's not only a dangerous job, but not a particularly well-paid job either. What about local governments or the central government in this case, and prosecutions, accountability? Because there has to be some consequence for this in order for there to be some reliable deterrent effect. Does that exist, Stephen? And I appreciate we're talking different countries.
Yeah, it's hard to generalize, but we can actually say it is getting better. Thailand, for example, where you cited before, there was a ranger who caught one of the richest men in Thailand in the forest poaching a panther. And normally in the past, nobody would have dared arrest a person like that. He did. That tycoon ended up in jail. So times are changing. People are taking wildlife crime a little more seriously than before, and we're stoked about that.
Stephen, how can people help if they're watching this and they want to provide greater support? And I think the first thing I would say is, and I'm clearly not a trained doctor, but the consumers of these products have to think again, surely. And we're talking about animal pelts as well, I'm sure, when we're talking about the EU and the United States.
Sure. Well, the first thing is to think about the front line, the rangers. Organizations like ours and other NGOs are training and equipping these rangers, because without them, you can kiss the tiger goodbye. So remember the rangers. Secondly, help us connect these cops. There are good cops in these countries. We are bringing them together from the source, transit, and consumer countries so they can share information and bust these gangsters and take their money. And we're having some success doing that, but we got to bring them together. Thirdly, actually, companies need to look at their footprint, their production lines, their supply chains. Some of them may inadvertently be having a negative impact on these delicate natural ecosystems. There's one company out in Asia I wish others would follow suit with. It's called Be Grim. They're a energy conglomerate. They've done their due diligence. They continue to do that. And they, the chairman goes around and, talks about tigers when he's meeting, heads of state and others, and they're financing tiger protection. We need more of that. And finally, we need people to stop buying tigers anywhere in the world. There's more tigers in captivity commercially in the United States than there are in the wild in the whole world. So this is not just an Asian thing. But I would, go beyond that so that we're not just talking about, bears next year or elephants the following year. I think actually we just need to end the commercial trade in wild animals. There is a tiny percentage of people who are actually benefiting from it. It's not poor people putting meat on their table. I'm not talking about subsistence hunting or deer hunting or anything like that. That's not commercial trade in wild animals. I'm talking about this industrial style, huge $200+ billion a year trade, the legal trade, which is the biggest threat actually to wild animals, because people can launder the illegal trade through it. So it masks the illegal trade, it masks viruses. One of the most efficient ways that we can, spark a new pandemic is through wildlife trade. So I think, we need to look at the tiger and respect that it's making a comeback, and we need to do the same thing, but let's just end commercial trade in wild animals.
Yeah, this is a sophisticated ring that we're talking about. Stephen, I have to let you go, but I did love watching that one that tried to take a bite out of the camera there. They're far better live and in the wild than anything else. Yeah. Thank you, sir, for your work, and great to chat to you. We'll keep in touch. Thank you.
Thank you.